Morning, Sirs Lions community. How y'all doing today? Brother Doug,
What what's wrong with your home office? What's
hmm,
going on over there, Zach?
my home office is on the road.
Ah, gotcha.
Ah, kiddo's still sleeping in the hotel room.
Are you somewhere
So,
warm?
no.
No.
I mean,
Somewhere
it's as warm as Illinois.
Indiana. Is that where Disney World is? Indiana. What is in Indiana?
I do that bike race every year. So,
Ah, that's right. That's
yep,
right.
50 miles coming up. So,
50 miles.
on a bicycle.
Yeah, that sounds really stupid. I would need a vacation from that, to be honest with you.
It's a lot of fun. It's a good time. We have a good time. Taking to making a family vacation, and we take the kid to some museums and stuff like that. We got some friends that are not far from here, within
Nice.
20 minutes, half hour. So,
Nice.
um,
Well, that's good.
you know,
That's good.
yeah, it's good
Got to be
stuff.
passionate about things. Some people are passionate about wearing spandex shorts and riding bikes. Hey, it's everybody has their thing, right, Zach?
It happens. It happens. Um, so we're talking industry insight. You and I both have seen a lot of changes. We've
Yeah.
we've been around the block quite a while. Um, Me not as long as you or Saul, but I've experienced some of the same changes, the same
Yeah.
kind of comebacks. So we're kind of talking about some of the things that might be new, or they might be recycled, and
Mhm.
just coming back into fashion like anything else.
Yeah. I mean,
Blows my
history, they say history repeats itself, and we can see cycles. And for sure, even in our niche industry, it's the same thing. So it'd be fun to think about and see from our perspectives.
Yeah, I mean, we see it in fashion, right? Did that give you a heart attack when the bell bottoms came back, Doug?
I've been around long enough to been back twice now, which is pretty scary. So, but yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I'm watching the grunge from the 90s when I was
Yeah, is that
growing
starting to
up.
come back now? No.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the
vintage. And
first
I'm
time.
like, no, that's close.
That wasn't bad. That was a long run before grunge came back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
20 something years, 30 years. So
yeah,
could be
pretty
worse.
pretty hilarious, right?
But same thing. I mean, really, the appliance industry, we've seen the disposable back to how long can we keep this thing running, to
That's right.
techs are doing different things, training companies are doing different things, and bringing back some of the old things. So we're
Yeah.
gonna kind of run through some of that today. So
All right.
pray
Well,
us
open
up.
us
We
up
need
in
all the
prayer
help
for
we can
Monday.
get. Yes,
Good.
sir.
Lord God, we lift Zach to you. We pray for a safe race this week. We pray that he continues to be an example to the world, to the people around him while he's biking, of what's important first, which is you, Lord. And we just pray that the family, Zach and his wife and daughter, all have a great time this week. Lord, we lift up our industry and we thank you that you're a God that is um, the same and will always be the same. And even though cycles and changes happen in this world, you are still the constant force. So God, guide us through this week, and we lift up in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I wasn't cool enough, but I have a sneaky suspicion Saul was wearing those like just 5 years ago when they weren't cool. But have you met Saul, Zach?
No, I haven't met a person.
I'll tell you something. The part that freaked me out the most is like he's 4'9", and I know that from his culture, they're not super tall people, but 4'9" is weird. So he does wear. He's one of those people that wear heels in all their different shoe platforms. They're like thicker soles, and it's still weird that he only comes up to right about my breast area. It's strange, but I'm going to tell you something. The nicest guy I've ever met. Even
I'm
though
not 4'9" and you're taller than me. I remember the first time I met you and I'm like, man, he's pretty tall.
I've been thinking about that because when I met a lot of you guys from Zoom during COVID, I realized that you guys just think I was just some short, fat dude because of this big round neck and stuff. I used to think it was a compliment. Oh, wow. They didn't realize how tall I was. You just thought I was short and fat is what you thought. That's what you thought, right, Zach?
No, I mean, I thought you're an average height guy.
I am average height. 6 feet is average. Everybody
you're
below that is,
I'm 5'11". You're taller than that, Sunshine. Oh man. So, I mean, I think the first thing we can talk about is training, right? So for a long time there was a trend, and I can remember going to them, and MSA still does quite a few of them on a recurring basis. But the manufacturers would even do like in-person trainings. I remember going to Chicago for a Whirlpool training when the VMW came out. Pile of junk washer. But I can remember a Whirlpool factory trainer coming out and teaching us about the VMW. And Marcone has continued that, right? They have an amazing group of in-person trainers. They're all over the country doing that stuff on a regular basis. There's kind of a dip away from that. We had COVID, and even before COVID, it was starting to decline. Really, the only one doing it was Marcone. And now it seems like manufacturers are starting to cycle back and get their trainers out, partnering up with not just Marcone, but Encompass and Sunberg and some of the other ones, and getting back to that in person, touch it, feel it, uh, really train it. Are you seeing that in your area?
Well, we don't have any parts vendors, but
Oh, right. You're
what's interesting about the vendors getting involved, even more now, right? It's a very competitive market, and they want your business. So if you can provide other things that can help your small business succeed, that could probably bring some loyalty over. So if Marcone is offering great training and you're going there, then there's a chance you might buy more parts from them over all the competitors out there. So I've talked with some people with different vendors and told them, excuse me, a couple of years ago, this is critical for us with the change of appliances. That they could help us in that. How can you help us run our business and support our business? Not just about part pricing. And I got to believe that's where Saul and others, their ears just bleed, because when we want to just complain about things not working, we want to immediately go to the thing that we spend a lot of money on and go, damn it, they've got to just charge less for parts. But really, companies like Marcone and Encompass have the ability to come alongside and partner and help us be better businesses. So I think it's a competitive world right now, very competitive, especially in the parts world.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. They came
5'10"
back with
Saul.
their
Saul is not 5'10". For all of you who have met Saul, he might be qualified as a little person 5'10". Jeez, oh my gosh. That would mean he's almost as tall as you, and we know that that's not the case, right? Oh, you never met Saul.
I haven't met him.
Like, he's just a little bit over my waist, guys. And you know what's great about Saul is he's got a Christ-like heart. You have to look down at him to see him because he's so short, but he doesn't think of you like you're looking down at him. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying he's Zacchaeus?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Oh boy. So the conferences, right? The conferences are really getting full tilt. I know United Servicers, you guys had kind of kept going even through COVID. They
Yeah.
went virtual for a bit, but you had really maintained that momentum. Marcone just came back this year with their first in person since before COVID. I think PSA has continued along. I'm excited for September. Listen, guys, it's a month away. So if you haven't registered, let me throw this up here real quick. ApplianceRepairConference.com. Get your discount code from Service Alliance Group. Get registered. We are teaching 10 classes at PSA this year uh, in the business realm. So, but really getting that in person and that group meeting, like as soon as the restrictions were lifted, everyone was kind of, how do we get back to full tilt with this? Because it's so important. I
Oh,
think there's so
you're
much
gonna
that
get
comes from community.
you're gonna get left behind really fast, and because things are moving along, like we've talked about over the last couple of months, staying relevant and not getting too far back. Right? We have to prioritize what is important to running our businesses, and so you might put something on hold. Um, I don't know, like a CRM or something like that. But if you wait too long, then you're going to get in trouble because you're going to get left in the dust, right? We've talked about AI, we've talked about the fact that advertising. I mean, phone books. That was the way you advertised for a good 30, 40 years was your phone book, and then Google came along, and that's been changing ever so much, right? But now it's changing even faster, and we're moving a little bit away from that as well. So you got to know your industry, and you got to know how to market to your customers. Um,
I'm curious when the pull away from uh, Google and some of these other ones is going to happen, right? Because um, there was such a resistance to digital marketing, and people are still advertising in the phone books up until 8 years ago. There might still be people advertising
sure.
in phone book. Do you still get a phone? I don't get a phone book anymore. We used to
No.
get them delivered, but up until even 8 years ago, there was people still doing ads, and there were still people trying to sell ads for the phone books. There's just kind of this resistance. And I think we've experienced that, like, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. We've seen, you know, business listings just completely decimated by changes in Google. And, if Mike was telling me that Google's AI is better at deciphering AI. And so even if you have a post from way before, even a year, 2 years back, um, that was AI generated, they're shutting your listing off. Like,
Right.
he had some clients that their websites, their listings were just kneecapped over the weekend because of this change that rolled out. And so this is a trend that I want to watch. Where's that pushback on these giants going to come? What is it?
Yeah.
Are we going to go back to more community based, like, you know, activities, being involved in the community and getting our advertising that way and pulling away from these media giants? Obviously, it'll always be a thing. We'll always have to
Yeah.
have Google and Yelp and whatever else, but I'm curious when that pushback is going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Well, everything is going a lot faster than it used to be. That's all, that I know. It's quicker than we think it's going to be, right? So again, sitting and waiting and saying I don't have time to deal with that might be a tough sell, tough thing to overcome later, right? So you've definitely got to figure it out. Similar push pull, I think, is working for manufacturers and third party warranty companies. We've never really done too much of it. And the last time that we had any significant portion was, in the early 2000s or whatever. So the reality is I've always seen it. It's kind of like a game of chicken. Manufacturers are getting crunched by the economy, And so then they lower their rates a little bit, and then there's pushback, and it's who's going to give in first for pricing. And so I have a sneaky suspicion that that's been going on and will continue throughout this time, where manufacturers, at one time, used to have their own employees running calls and fixing appliances. So that I can't imagine that coming back. We've seen LG try that in different areas, and it pops up and then it does, and then it's gone. So that's a cyclical historical thing. And again, how many times do you want to win when there's this rematch of rate increases or rate decreases? How many times do you want to be on the losing end of that one before they finally give in? So definitely have to stand strong there as an industry, and make sure that the cost of doing business is being shared, mostly that they're paying for this cost of doing business, right? I remember a couple of years ago, one of my friends getting a letter from Whirlpool saying the rate, the cost of expenses are going up, and so we're going to have to lower your rates. And I'm thinking, and ours aren't going up as well,
Right.
really? Like that's the dumbest thing that could come from a corporation, just to put that in a letter, like we're going to feel bad for them, or that they're the hand that's feeding us. And if they are the hand that's feeding us, you're in trouble.
And that's what burned LG and Samsung. They played stupid games and won
Right.
stupid prizes, right? Like, hey, we're just gonna screw these authorized service centers. And it didn't work. Then okay, great. We'll just badmouth your appliance because, you guys, you don't support your product, you don't support your servicers, you don't do this stuff. See what happens. And Samsung probably took the biggest brunt of that, and they've kind of turned, right? We've seen a turn away from that. Like, okay, let's get, even non-servicers trained. Let's get people liking our appliance again, because we hit, poking the wrong hornet's nest. They've kind of turned tail to try and gain some market share back with customers, because we're the ones in the home. And if we're bad mouthing the appliance, it's not going to go well for
Yeah.
them. And a lot of that came from this lack of support and this, hey, we're just not going to pay you well. And so we're seeing a shift back to, okay, you win. But we got to keep that pressure on. We got to keep that pressure on, going, hey, listen, we need the support. We can be your best advocate, or we can be your worst nightmare.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, listen, Zach, I'd like to think that everyone's from Chicago and thinks that way. Hey, let's try to screw this group or these people. We're out for ourselves. But in the real world, I think rarely does anyone put actual words in that manner, right? It's not.
Oh, I don't think they were intentionally trying to
like
screw.
no,
They were just, yeah.
Even the guys on Facebook, right? Like, man, I couldn't believe I was able to get $450 out of that lady. It's like, I know they don't mean it, but they
Right.
sound like they're out to try to get the most money from every company. But here's the deal. We have to survive. And if we aren't charging the right prices, if we're charging a price that everyone's saying yes all day long, you're probably too low, because
Raise
you
that
need
price.
to have your pricing at a point where it's painful for everyone. A little painful for us, because we have to do our best job at selling added value services and excellence, because you need to get that profit. Otherwise, you're going to be the pizza shop that's closed in the same building that's been 4 other pizza shop owners over the last 10 years. If you're going to stick around, you need to charge the right price, and the right price hurts a little bit. It hurts for everyone. That means you've got to take your time, make a connection with the customer, and let them know what we're doing. Again, I'm seeing with the price of stuff going up, there's more and more of this Amazon part buying business. It's going to come back and bite a lot of these people pretty hard. So why don't we just charge OEM industry? Why don't we just charge it and pass that cost on? And you know what? Why don't you buy a nice, clean new Polo stop smoking cigarettes before you go in the house, brush your teeth, head on in and be a world-class company and charge the price that needs to be charged, So we need to get serious because our industry keeps cycling, and I've seen it grow with a lot of people jumping in, and I've seen a lot of people jumping out, and there is a trajectory here, and I don't believe that appliance repair residential will be the vibrant or the larger the size that it is. I think it's going to continue to shrink, and the outliers are going to be the slackers and the people looking for a quick buck. And then the next one is the tragic crowd. This is the crowd who's not planning for their future. They're hoping that things are just going to get better. They're waiting for things around them to improve. I don't know, like the economy gets better. Great, then my price won't be so pushed back by, yeah, well, I mean, are you planning for your retirement? Are you planning to make sure that you're going to live well when you're older? So it's time for us to step up and be a more professional industry, similar to like HVAC and electrical, for sure.
Yeah. Those Amazon parts, right? Like this, when you were first starting, even towards the, I was starting towards the tail end of this, right? You could carry one evaporator fan and fix every
Yeah,
freaking up fridge that was
sure.
on the market. And now some of these parts prices have just, ballooned because they're proprietary, right? But the reality is buying the Amazon parts isn't the right choice, right? It's it's educate your customer on what happens, because we've all seen those Amazon parts fail in a much shorter time span than they should. Sure, you paid $15 for a, $60 evaporator fan, but now you got to replace it 8 times, and so I mean you've paid more than the price if you would have just bought OEM the first dang time. And that's our job as professional servicers, to educate our customers in that, right? And I know that went on back in the day too. We had Supco's been around forever, and they've been making crappy parts forever. And there's still guys using those parts, right? And they're still having the same problems. Why are we going back to these things that didn't work well, that were bad ideas? Like, let's not be part of the problem. Let's be part of the solution, right?
Sure.
Just do it the
And
right way and
and
be
I
professional.
can hear some people saying I'm seeing some of this OEM part stuff being pretty crappy as well, and that is a reality. The way appliances are being built today, we might be going into a turn of slight disposability and things like that. That's why I think I wish I did this 2 cycles ago. I wish I got into training and developing a division of ice machines and commercial appliances.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can look back and go, well, obviously that's a direction that this industry needs to head towards, not just residential or commercial, but both, because guess what? The residential market is shrinking. And the benefits of a commercial market is you don't price point isn't as big of a deal. There, it's a business that's making money off of that product, and it's a tool, and they need to get it fixed. And it's cheaper for them to fix it than to buy another $15,000-$20,000 stove. So
Mm-hmm.
it's an industry that I'm seeing a lot happening and moves being made to get into commercial appliance repair. So diversifying what we do is definitely a smart direction, I think, for us to head in.
Yeah, and we went from the dependable Maytags, right? The freaking washer that's 50 years old, and you can still get parts and still fix it. Those have kind of gone the way of the Buffalo.
Yeah.
There's maybe a few left out there, but not
Yep.
many. and parts are fewer and far between. We went into the direct drives, right? Which, hey, it's modular, you can fix it, and those things were going 30 years, 40 years. And then, we go into the VMW, and I'm picking on Whirlpool here, but it's really all the brands did
Oh,
the
there's
same
nobody
thing.
different.
All,
There's a
yeah,
parity. Yeah.
they just have the easiest line to kind of follow, right? And then we go into the BMW, and then we go into the Cabrio platform.
Hmm.
And I think we are going to come back around, right? So COVID, everyone was trying to repair, but they're trying to repair crappy appliances that
Right.
just, like, why are we repairing these things? And it's because the price of a new washer was more than the price of a repair. I think we will come back to a sustainable model eventually. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're in that messy middle where we still have a bunch of really crappy appliances that just aren't worth fixing. But I think these manufacturers will get to a point where their name and people are tired of the crap. It will come back to that. Um, I could be wrong. I mean, TV repair, right? TVs, you can buy a 65-inch. I just saw a
Hmm.
65-inch for $100. Yeah, I mean so appliances could head that way too. It's worth watching the trend in what appliances do. I don't think, uh, to your point, I don't think commercial will ever go that way. Those are high-end appliances, very specialized. I don't think that's ever really going to go uh,
See,
anywhere.
the thing, Zach, that's kind of slowly choking us is the expenses to run a business.
Yep.
Insurance and parts and things like that. So as that price keeps elevating, we have to now raise our average per call ticket, and there's a ceiling that's going to hit there
Yep.
with a bunch of the residential lines. So again, if you're in a market that has high end and boutique brands, and you're like thinking, I don't feel like diving into that, that's
David
crazy
Oliva.
because
David
there are
Oliva.
some parts
His
of the country that don't have that option at all. You're not
Yeah.
going to see a Heston and a Thor, and you're not going to see all these high end brands. If you see them, you should get there and start servicing them, because again, the average ticket price is higher, 50, 75, $100 higher, and that's going to help you cover your cost of expenses that
Yep.
are starting to really climb up. So that's the
Yep.
issue. I think the price of stuff is getting higher and higher. And so as a business, imagine, like, if you're in the HVAC world, you're selling a system. How much does a system go for? Like, retail, uh, $5,000, $10,000.
Mine's going to
HVAC,
be 12.
12. The materials retails 12,000.
No, I installed it's going to be 12, which is a
Okay,
fair
so
price. Knowing what everything costs, because I still have access to that,
yeah.
it's going to be a fair price for my system
Yeah, so
for
so
sure.
six to $10,000 in the materials.
Yep.
Well, we all get a little markup on that. So would you
Yep.
rather have a markup on a $32 belt, or would you rather have a markup on a $10,000 HVAC system? All of those little parts of the business help us, So if you want to get your hourly rate to be in a home for 3 hours, and doing an HVAC unit. So what can we do in our industry? So commercial appliance repair is certainly one way. I'm heading off to, never just saw it online, and so we're going to just try it out. Myself and one of our people from the office, from our company, we're going to the huge convention in Tennessee, and I don't know, this could be a bust. We're going to find out. But it was an opportunity to get some business training outside of the UASA,
Hmm.
PSA. I'd love to go to the Tommy Mello one, but I think that's like, $1,500. So I don't know yet. But so we took a dive there, and that's home services, other home services, and I'm gonna see if there's some low hanging fruit. Can I bring in two, three, four, five people to do some low impact or low training type stuff, power wash. I don't know what they've got, Zach. That's all I'm saying is I don't know. I'll let you guys know when I get back at the end of this week, and find out what we're in the house. If you just won the trust over of a customer because you are amazing, right, Dan, Dr. Dan? And you had two other things that you could do to help a customer keep their home intact, in shape, and beautiful. And it could potentially run by itself or manage a little bit of management. That's a great opportunity because you
Well,
won the customer over.
and counterpoint, don't be the one man show that does everything, right? Because that scares people away. At least in my area, if they see I do appliance, HVAC, plumbing, gutter cleaning, like they got 18 things listed on their truck, um, people shy away from that. But if
Yeah,
you have a company and you have employees and you can bring in other people as a part of your umbrella to do these
yeah.
home services, then absolutely rock and roll. So that's just a counterpoint to that. Don't be the one man show doing that.
No,
Doesn't mean don't look into future thoughts of adding people in to do this, but don't be the one guy doing all the things. It's
Zach, one man shows. It's probably the hardest thing to do is to be in a business where you're a one man show.
yeah,
All the world and weight is on your shoulders. And
yep,
you're hoping and praying that your body and your mind is going to hold up and that so you have to be so strategic with your finances because your business is going to be worth nothing when it's done. Because the only thing that your customers know is you. That's it.
and,
And when
and you
you're
and
not
I have seen
there,
more guys come and go because of that
that's right.
than we can count.
That's right. And how many people can you reach in a day? And
Yep,
so even if you were to get this great loyalty and this buzz about your services, you're going to just be like dancing around the skirts. So unless you're putting tons of money away and you're going to be banking it, Bob Weinerstein, what was his name? Bob, right?
yep, yep,
The guy tried hiring employees. They drove him nuts. He got rid of them, but he clearly was doing things financially, setting himself up. And now he gets to do whatever he wants. And he just completely, got out
he
of the
invested in some properties. He had some commercial properties, stuff like that. Like, and
that's being strategic. But
right.
if you're a one man show, don't, like you said, Zach, taking on more things for you to do is not the plan.
Right.
But wouldn't it be great to have somebody doing something while
Yep.
you're taking care of a customer and they're making $100 an hour for your business,
Yep.
and you're shelling out $40 to $60 of that 100 to expenses and salary, and you're getting to keep $40 an hour, day over day, week over week, year over year.
Yep.
It's going to help you get that bottom line on what you're trying to achieve, which is financial freedom. Isn't that what we're all looking for?
Yeah. And
So yeah.
I think one of the trends coming back is actually trying to truly train people, not just um we've talked about it before, the true master and apprentice model, right? Like you learn from someone and then you go and become a master. That really is making its way back. And people do, if they see you're not a master of your craft, and they don't feel like they are being respected as an apprentice in it, yeah, you're gonna have a revolving door.
Yep.
And I speak from experience. I was a master of the craft, but I wasn't training as a master of the craft, right? And so you get this revolving door. And Doug, you guys are doing a great job. You have a great training program. Obviously there's improvements that can be made, but you have these guys that are buying in because you are investing in them. They are feeling respected. They are learning to become masters of the craft, and they are finding a home within Action Appliance. And so that's two sides of the coin, right? Master of the craft, not training apprentices the right way, not building them up the right way, versus master of the craft, actually building people up and pouring into them day over day. And so if you're struggling with employee retention, right? And we've seen that cycle, man. The crappy, oh, back in the day, you could get anyone to work and no, you couldn't. Um, you might have had a few more people that were willing to work for garbage, but the reality is they still disappeared. They still started their own companies. That is not new.
Mm.
That is not new at all. Um, so just learn how to lead people, right? It's a skill that takes time, but as you learn to lead people, they will stay, they will want to work for you. And you can build an amazing thing. Doug and Jay are proof of that. It does take time, it does take effort, but it's really, really so worth it in the end. So that going back to the master and the apprentice, that really is coming
Mhm.
back. That is what people want, and they are not going to stay for anything less than that
Right.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You got to leave opportunity. You got to dangle opportunity for your employees. You have to put your position because you're wearing so many hats right now, right? You have to put those hats up on the shelf and point to it and say, this is how you get to that, or which hat would you like to wear? And it's so awesome to be able to grow up from your team leaders, which means that we go from just being in the appliance service business into being into the leadership development business. That's where we're ultimately heading. It's about relationships. For all of us guys that went into people's homes and had great numbers and had happy customers. Great numbers means you sold a lot of repairs and you didn't have as many callbacks, and you had customers calling you back for life because they knew they can trust you, and they gladly and willingly gave you the money that you needed to pay your cost of doing business and your retirement and your plan towards financial freedom. They're willing to pay for it. And so, to do that, you need a team of people. And so to have those hats in place for you to be able to take that hat off and pick up a new one, something new that you've never done before, right? That's the ultimate goal. So a company that can level up is the way to go. And it doesn't have to be like you're not trying to do 100. I think I freak Jay out sometimes. We start talking like that, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa!" And it's like it's a number, but it's not like some gigantic number. If Jay and I were able to go and look around and try to find other places that we could serve communities, in home services or others, but someone's in our places doing our jobs, it's a win-win for everybody, because someone's going to leave you once they hit the ceiling. That was your point earlier, is if there's nothing there for them to stick around other than money, this is not the generation that's going to go bananas for money. It's just not. So
they don't care.
nope. And I'll caution you: be careful about promising these things to your current staff, because people are hearing things, and you might be dreaming, you might be brainstorming, they might be taking that down as a note with a date next to it, and then there's expectations from there. So you want to be cautious, but use it as a great tool to get people to be the best version of themselves.
So to that point, right? Let your actions speak louder than your words. Begin to create the path for them. Don't promise the path,
Right.
create the path,
That's right.
and let them buy into the dream. We see it all the time in roofing. Guys
Mhm.
think that they can figure out how to deal with insurance companies and supplement and do this stuff, and they don't know all the stuff that's in the background. Um, with the company that I work for, I have a unique perspective. I was business owner, so like I understand the operations and the headache side of things. And I think any company's challenge is figuring out how to be a leader of people.
Mm.
If you're not leading people, they will eventually get tired of what they're doing and they will disappear. And no money in the world, no position, no nothing is going to change that.
Mm.
You have to figure out how to level up your leadership. And we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
And we've gone through cycles of that too, right? People just wanted a paycheck, they wanted to make as much money as they can. And now we've come back to where people are starving to be
Mm.
led. And we've been on this path for the last 20 years. People are starving to actually have true leadership. And not to go political, but we see it across the map. We see it at the state level, the city level, the country level. People are starving to actually have true
Mm.
leaders. And so start within your company being a true leader because that has come back. That is what people want. They want to be led at this point.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's an important tool to having employees nowadays, and I don't have regret. Right, that's just one of those things. When I accepted Christ in my life, filled with regret in the past. Now it's never regret. It is a quick. There's always a look back though. I do look back, and I reflect on what could have and should have happened potentially. Not so that I can wallow, but so that I can say, well, let me try to avoid this in the future. I will tell you right now, just as we're talking, huge misstep on Action Appliance, right? I'm not going to say Jay because we're all doing the best we can and learning and growing. But if we could go back in time, I would have whispered into Jay's ear, hey, this guy Doug that you just promoted from technician to service manager, from service manager to general manager, let's get him some training in leadership. Let's get him some structured programs and developmental tools to help him lead people better. And he might have heard that whisper and said, what are you talking about? We have 8 technicians and 3 office people. This is not a big deal. He's doing fine. Look, he's doing fine. But now we're nearly 40 people and we're doing fine. He's not wrong about that. But wouldn't you want to be the best version of yourself at that point? And so to your point, Zach, it is always going to be about leadership and relationships because, again, we're not in that world of just give me as much money as you can get because money is what's important to me. We know that. We talk about that at Action Appliance about how people, that's not their priority anymore. It's about a happy life. Well, how do you have a happy life? Well, you have a job where you find joy. Well, how the heck are you going to find joy in a job? Well, you have to be treated well. You have to be challenged, right? Because if a job is really boring and uneventful, then you're not going to see joy in it. It's going to be a humdrum thing. So much to this, So I look back. We did it. We didn't do it well. And so I got to use that momentum to plan for the future, whether we stay at 40 or we get to 60, 80 or 100 or 30 or 20, who cares? We got to have great people leading people. So that's the takeaway from us just brainstorming here, Zach, is that every time, and we're still a little cautious. How much is that? That's going to be what? $12,000? Oh, $12,000. There's this virtual ride along Rilla. Love the concept. AI records everything that's happening in the house so that you can then, you're not there, you can pull that information. You can ask this AI, did the technician ask this or how did the customer respond to that question? And you can pull that data. I mean, that's a 5-digit expense. So how am I going to get in the house with the technicians to coach them and mentor them and teach them on how to do those things? I'm either going to get a butt in the seat of the passenger van and have trainers training, or I'm going to do something like Rilla. Either way, it's called training and investment. Either way, it's probably going to be 5 figures. So again, thank you for this brainstorm session because I have to keep that at the forefront of my mind instead of as consensus going, yeah, we'll be okay, we're fine where we're at, we'll get it, we'll figure it out. That's time, and time is against us. So
Well, and I mean, as we wrap up, there's another trend, right? And I'm sure Mike will talk more about technology being a trend in the industry because that's kind of where Mike's brain is. But you know, the option for a virtual trainer before was not an option, and now it
right.
is something that's coming into view, and the cycle of what that even looks like 10 years from now is going to be totally different. So
Sure.
kind of interested to see where that comes.
Yeah, technological oversight when you're not around. So as an employee,
Yeah,
you're being monitored as far as efficiency goes and process with no one around.
yeah,
It's kind of like dash cameras, right? Haven't put them in the vans. They should have been in years ago because there's so much liability and risk.
yep,
But the noise of employees going, this is an infringement on my rights. I think I'm going to quit if you put that in. Not that they've said that, but my brain can go there and I stall in doing the right thing. Now, the first time we get into some accident and it's something major and we get nailed for it and there's question of our liability, I'll wish I freaking did it, right? I'll wish that I made that decision. But you're totally right. The future will be efficiency and process will probably be measured in some sort of autonomous way. And that's just something employee life that'll be a part of their life. And so I might
but
as well
it's
start
gonna.
finding people right now that want to be coached and that aren't going to protest, whether it's a guy in the seat next to him or some sort of automation. Who wouldn't want to get the feedback to say, how can I do this differently? How can I be more efficient? How can I make more money for myself as a technician, right?
And
Or as an office person.
and to your point, it's leading your people. It is teaching them that this is
Yep.
not a punishment tool. This is a way for me to help you be the best version, to
Right.
continue on this path that in this career that you've created, right? How can I help you? Well, I can't sit with you all day long, but
Mm,
I can go through this tool and we can review this together and we can talk about this together and we can figure out an action plan to be better. It is still going to require great leaders.
yeah.
That is something that will never change. Great leaders are always going to be needed.
Great
So,
leadership only will attract good people too, right? Again, if you hire two technicians and they're both in training and one is eager and asks a lot of questions and they take that answer and it makes them better, and then there's another person who's stubborn, set in their ways, frustrated, feeling like you got your thumb over their head. It's who do you want? So
hmm
if you've got great leadership, are you going to waste it on people that don't want to be trained, teach, taught, mentored,
yep,
coached? So it's sort of the chicken or the egg thing. So,
yep,
but if you bring in good leadership, then you got to elevate the bar and only hire people that want to be coached and who want to be excellent, right?
100%, 100%. So we had a great mastermind this last weekend talking about AI tools and all the things AI. Mike did a excellent job. Really cool. It was fun to hear how many other people are using Plod. There was at least two other people using Plod, so that was cool. But next mastermind is September 20th, right before PSA. We will be in Vegas already, and we will be all together, going over expanding your service area the right way while down in Vegas. So join us, servicealliancegroup.com, become an all access member, get a chance to come around a group. We had probably 15 people on that conversation doing different things, learning different things, sharing things that they were doing. I love the masterminds. I love hearing what other people are doing, alongside of teaching some of the things that we're doing, um, as leaders. So servicealliancegroup.com. And then for PSA, ApplianceRepairConference.com. Go get your discount code. Join us in Vegas in September. We have confirmed 10 classes. We're putting the last one together now. That was a last minute change. So ApplianceRepairConference.com. Get your discount and join us at PSA. Doug, it's always fun to talk to you, even when I'm on vacation, even when you're on vacation. I think we've both done that this year.
Yeah. Well, you have a great race this week, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Make some
Guys,
memories.
get out there. Love your customers. Love your team. Lead them well. We'll see you next time on the grind. Have a good day, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Morning Grind podcast by Service Alliance Group. Subscribe to our channel and make sure you visit our website at servicealliancegroup.com for appliance repair business resources.